So, Space Marine 2, am I right? Well, I wanted to talk about it since its release, but I couldn't because my model wasn't here to talk about it yet. Now I'm here. Hello, this is the new me. This is the me that you're gonna be seeing from this day on. So, as I said, I've been playing Warhammer 40K Space Marine 2 for like so fucking long, since the first day of early access, and I've been having a blast. But things haven't been smooth in the game. With some parts, it needs some things to be ironed out, of course. However, I will say that there is this one big misinterpretation with the game that I do need to clarify that a lot of people don't realize. A lot of people think that this game works like a live service game, which it actually, to a shocking degree, it doesn't function like a live service game. The game will receive patches, updates, and of course the season passes, but when it comes to adding content to the game, I think we will only see the major content being added around the major patches, which are the season passes. So I think up until those points, we will definitely have to wait for some of the more big changes to content, rather than randomly added it in between the seasons. In the mind of I'm trying to enter the mindscape of these developers. If they would put resources into focusing on adding more stuff before a new season comes in, they might have to delay the seasons to make room for these big changes. So again, the big changes to the game that are definitely needed or need to be added will come much later on. So be tolerable, we'll get there. Overall, I really like the game though. It's been amazing. The shooting mechanics, the parry system, which by the way, a lot of people, like the first week, even now up to this day, they don't really have a grasp on how the weapons work with parrying, and I'll be honest, I was one of them until I figured out this one little trick I'll show in a second. So I've seen a lot of reviews of the game where a lot of the game reviewers smack talked the parry system, and I understand it's not clear up front what you're supposed to do.
Another con is this inconsistent feel to the parry system, which just resulted in me dodging most of the time because it was far more reliable and far less punishing. Even if you didn't have perfect timing, at least you dodged away from the damage rather than sitting there in an animation that missed and then getting hit.
Well, once I checked into this, it was pretty simple, and the game has it in plain view if you just look at the screen a little bit. So the window I'm talking about is this one right here, which basically has the thing I'm talking about with the melee weapons and the parry system is this one. The fencing, block, and balanced. Essentially, the way to do it right now and the most optimal way is definitely fencing style, because block and balanced, well, okay, balanced if you want to swing your weapon a little bit faster. But fencing in the highest difficulties is definitely the way to go with how much enemies swarm you. But on the contrast thing is also the gun strikes, which are these executions you do with the pistol to get armor back. But I've seen a lot of conflict with people that have it around the gun strikes, mainly due to the fact that you don't actually have iframes when you shoot enemies with a gun strike. I agree, it should have some kind of iframe when you do the gun strike. However, a lot of people also want it's like, hey, can we also get like a stagger on the enemies when you do a gun strike? And the reason I would say that this is a pretty shitty idea is due to the fact that because of the overwhelming number of enemies that you can easily gun strike once you have a power sword or just do a heavy attack combo with a chainsaw, it wouldn't pose a challenge at all in hordes. The whole point of the hordes is to overwhelm you, to keep you on your toes, and I feel like if you could just constantly stagger enemies, that wouldn't be very threatening to do in any difficult. Another thing that I see a lot of debate about is the assault class, which, you know, for the most part, yeah, I agree, the assault class needs some tweaking. Just due to the fact that the jetpack doesn't actually function how it should. As in, if you use it during story, you can essentially take off really high and you can float. And the same applies to PvP. And now I understand, because you got these like different areas you can't backtrack to, they limit the assault class jetpack. But I feel like that's pretty fucking pointless, I'll be honest. You should be able to go back a little. If you're an assault class, just you should be able to backtrack. Why not? Unless they are afraid of where this meta pops up, where if you missed an armory data, you send out a assault class back to the start of the mission to sweep up the map. But unless they're maybe afraid of that happening, but I'm not sure. Overall, I think that's like the majority of the complaints have been basically that. And of course, I'm not gonna ignore the fact that matchmaking is definitely in a dog shit state on release. As in, the game does have a hard time queuing you with other people. Like, we're talking about randoms, we're not talking about friends. Sometimes you get that infinite joining server bug, which you can just relaunch the game and it fixes it pretty fast. It's not that big of a threat. But sometimes the game just doesn't queue you with other people. Whereas I had a few matches where I did try to enter the queue. Like, I wanted, no friends were online. Yeah, okay, whatever. And I just click on quick play, any operation on any difficulty. I don't really care. I just want to play the game. And I'm stuck with 2 bots because the game doesn't ever load me in with other people. Now, the solution and the way around this was that people discovered that you can load back into the title screen, then back into the game, and it should resolve that matchmaking issue. Which, in my humble opinion, that's a temporary fix as well, by the way. But in my opinion, why are we doing it like that? It shouldn't, I understand that the game is much bigger than anticipated. I feel like this is kind of like a Helldivers 2 situation right now. The game is much bigger than anticipated by the devs and the servers got overloaded. However, we shouldn't be suffering so much from lack of matchmaking. The developers did post a Q&A and they wanted to address as many things as possible not too long ago, which they are addressing connectivity issues, the AI bots, the campaign, and some things about the PvE balancing and quality of life. So we should look forward to some pretty good changes. Now, I myself actually, as I'm recording this, by the way, this happened. As I am recording this got posted. So I'll put it up on the screen right now and let's just go through it, okay? So, as we see now in the year 1 plan, it's still pretty much the same. Like, these are the season pass and the free updates which are planned with the private PvE lobbies, ultrawide support, yada yada, which will be added as season 1 progresses now. Season 2 will add more stuff as expected, and then we'll just go down to the connectivity issues, as I literally just described before this got posted, that yes, there's impossibility to connect with friends and also just in general with other people, which they're aware of it, they're gonna sort this out, so bless the devs. The AI bots. Question. Bots are regularly mentioned as inefficient, making solo games significantly harder. Are we suggested we work on them? According to you, they don't participate in focusing on objectives or don't do enough intense situations. Bots seem a bit too passive because we don't want them to take the spotlight from the player. However, they can sometimes be a bit too passive. So I do agree with this when playing on the veteran difficulty, and I majority of the time play through it solo. The bots are quite lacking on actually doing things. When it even comes to executing enemies, they don't even do that. They make them flash red, ripe for execution, mind you, and they run away from it. Now, that made me think, maybe they're just not programmed to execute, but no. I've actually seen bots execute them several times. So they can do it, they're just not in the mood to do it 90% of the time. Okay, now we're getting into the saucepan of the stuff. The balancing. Blocking weapon trait is seen as the community is a bad thing for melee weapons, as it removes the potential for mastery, because there is no perfect parry window. We fully agree that this is a bummer and will definitely make changes in a future patch. I wonder what I mean by this. Like, how are they gonna change the pairing system now? Because Essentially, what they made is this bad habit for players where everyone picks fencing because of the giant parry window it has. You can't block with it, you just have a giant parry window. And this forms a habit where everyone relies on it. But if they make it too big of a change and people won't like big changes to their playstyle, because a majority of people at higher difficulties will essentially rely on the fencing style and fencing style alone. If they touch it too much, there's gonna be an uproar, and I understand. I personally don't care about the change. I'll fucking adapt if I have to, but I know how the player bases are in games. I've seen many communities, and if they do too big of a change, there's gonna be an uproar. However, I do hope that the blocking trait gets tweaked in a better, like it finds its use. It might be niche, but I hope they get something out of it. Bolt Rifle family is underperforming while Meltagun is considered OP. Oh no. Why? No. Okay. This is a hot take. The Meltagun is not OP. Yeah, attack me all you want. It's not OP. It has such short range. It's supposed to be used in close quarter combat. You can't take out enemies on a long distance, especially those snipers. It has its use. It's there where it's supposed to be. So like, no, it's not OP. Hot take, you know. But let's see what the developers are saying. We have noticed a bug where the Melta allows the user to heal above the contested health. Yes, this is actually true. This part is very fucking true. I used heavy for a fucking day, and every time I shot someone with the double Meltagun, I healed my contested health, and then some more. And at first I was like, huh, maybe this is like a feature for the heavy class. It turns out, in this text, it's not a feature. We aim to fix this in the next patch. As for the rest of the weapon balancing behavior, some weapons can under-deliver on the power fantasy at higher difficulty levels. Oh, hopefully, buffs. Yes, come on, give us buffs. We also recognize that enemies can be a bit too bullet spongy on higher difficulty, which is not too much fun. They're addressing the right things. I love this. What the fuck? These devs are actually fucking listening. I really like this. Now, I played Ruthless difficulty a couple of times with friends, and it is a lot of fun. But fuck me, especially the Chaos Marines, they need a hard nerf. That's a guarantee. Like the Tyranids, fuck me, sign me up. I can do them all day, every day. Chaos Marines though, I have to be in like a specific mood. It's like, it's not that much fun, I'll be honest. Now, with the new melee weapons, you can actually see at the very start of the campaign that one of them is wielding an axe, which I'm betting my money on. That's gonna be a melee weapon. Ah, here it is. Iframes on gun strikes, man. It's like this fucking Q&A was literally fucking like set up for my downfall about my own takes. Gun strikes are a risk-reward action, and it is very easy to spam. We specifically did not put an iframe on it because of balancing reasons, so we're not looking to change this intention. See, I totally knew this would happen. They passed me. Did I say the right thing? I hope I did, otherwise this later part is gonna make me look like an idiot. I think that's it for this video. I really just wanted to talk about Space Marine 2. You people should play it. It's on Steam right now. It's an awesome game. Definitely worth your while. It gives you like the nostalgia from the ye olden days. Anyways, see you guys. Take care. Have a nice day.